Alright, so what we're going to be looking at now is that we're going to be looking at the second half of this section on descriptive statistics, which looks at, quartiles, percentage, the measurement of spread, which is using standard deviation as the standard one, also looking at range, and the 5-point summary, and a couple different things. So that's what we're going to be doing now. So the first thing is the 5-number summary. So the 5-number summary is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different numbers that are important whenever you want to summarize a data set. And these 5 numbers are used whenever you make a box and whisker plot or a box plot. And they go in order from least to greatest usually. Minimum, first quartile, median, third quartile, and the maximum. Okay. And so the maximum and minimum, that's pretty straightforward. It's the largest and the smallest number. Okay. And then after that, the quartiles and the median, we do a little formula to figure out what they are. The median, you probably all remember from Algebra 1 when you learn about mean, mode, median, range. And the median is the middle number. So when you line them up from least to greatest, the middle number, or the 50th percentile, okay, the 50th percentile is the median, okay, the middle number. And so to find that, you take however many points there. Remember, capital N is the number of data points. And so you take the number, multiply it by 0.5 or 1/2, and then you round up if it's a decimal. All right. And so that's the median. Now for the quartiles like quarters, that's why we've got Mr. Washington back here. You have your quarters. The first quartile is the 25th percentile, and the third quartile is the 75th percentile. Okay. So it's basically taking from the minimum up to that point, what percent of the data falls in there. So from the minimum to the first quartile is 25% of the data. From the minimum to the median is 50%. From the minimum to the third quartile is 75%. Okay. And again, you take the number of data points, multiply it by 0.25 for 25%, 0.5 for the median, and 0.75 for the third quartile. And then you round up if it's a decimal. Okay. Once you get those numbers, what you have is then you can take it. So let's say we have, Buddy the Elf is working and making toys, and these are the numbers of toys that he makes given days over a certain number of days. And we want to do our 5-number summary for this. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we have to find our minimum and maximum. That's going to be the easiest ones to do. Well, the minimum, I've already put this in order for you because I'm just such a nice guy. So our minimum is the smallest number, so this is our min, and our max is over here. Okay. Now for our quartiles, we're going to have to count how many data points are there. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 16 data points. So for the first quartile, we're going to go 16 times 0.25, which gets us 4. So that means our first quartile is the 4th number. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our first quartile. So that's our Q that's our 1Q. Then after that, we'll go to the next one, which will be the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be our median. All right. And then we'll count 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is our third quartile. Okay. So those are our quartiles that we have in this case. Okay. And that is our 5-number summary for this. And from here, we can make our box and whisker plot, which takes the middle number, or the minimum right here, maximum over here, and then we've got our first quartile, our median, and our third quartile. And this right here is called the interquartile range, which is the third quartile minus the first quartile. All right. Bye, buddy. All right. Now, with this, what we have is, from this we can identify our different data sets and see how they change. So if you look at this, here is 2 box and whisker plots of people taking their heart rates or their pulse rates before exercising and after exercising. This dot right here is an outlier. Okay, we don't have to worry about that right now. But all I want you to do is just look at these and see just by using the box and whisker in the 5-number summary, we can already see the change. As you see, the after is shifted up, so that means the middle number, or the 50th percentile, is higher than 20 or 75% of everything else. And even the 25th percentile of the after is higher than 75% of the other one. So we can see and relate these two graphs based on just the 5 data points, and we can see how far is it spread out. Is it very condensed? And different things. So as you see here, we've got a couple people with really high heart rates in here, but most of them are, 50% of the data is here, below about 77. All right. So using them, you can identify the 5 data points. You can identify what it is. So now, the measurement of spread, which you can use range and quartile range, but the big one that people like using in statistics is called the standard deviation. And what the standard deviation is it's this formula. There's actually 2 different types, but what we're going to do is ours is a little bit different than this one. We're only going to use n. We're not using n-1. And to find it, okay, this tells you the distance from the median to a certain data point, okay? And we're trying to find what's the average distance away. And from here we can do separate deviations. Now the first thing you have to do is find the mean of the data points. So let's say we have these 3, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. You add all those up, and you get your mean of around 11, okay? After that, you're going to find the difference of each one. So 11 minus 3 is 8, and then we're going to square it, and then we're going to add that to 11 minus 5, which is 6 squared. Then it's plus 5 squared, plus 2 squared, plus 0 squared, plus 4 squared, plus 7 squared, plus 10 squared. You add all those up, and you get approximately 294. And now what we're going to do is we're going to divide that by 10, or we're going to find the mean of this number. And that gets us about 30. Oh no, not 10, 8. My mistake. There's 8 numbers. So you divide it by 8 and we get about 36.75. And then we take the square root of it. And that gives us our standard deviation of about 0.6218. Now you're not going to do this a lot because we have computer programs and your calculator can actually do this, but there are going to be times where you're going to have to do something like this with a smaller set of numbers to find the standard deviation. And we'll go through this with a little bit more on another one we'll do another couple of examples. But here's just a step through. So this is your standard deviation, or the average distance from the middle the numbers are.